Chairman Lawhorn, Teddy Buffon. So,
Hello.
all right. And,
Good evening.
If y'all would bow your heads or have a word of prayer. Our Father in heaven, we thank Thee for the many blessings You've given us. We thank Thee for giving us another day. We ask that please bless our county and our country, and bless our leaders to do what pleases You and Your will for us. Please guide us tonight as we make decisions for our county, and what we do is the right thing for all citizens. Please bless our troops and keep them safe. Please bless our police, our EMT, fire service, and all our county workers, and all those who work hard for our county each day. We thank Thee, Lord, for all these things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first thing I have on the agenda is the public comments. And I don't see anyone signed up. Is there anyone present that would make a comment? Oh, I'm sorry. First off, we need to see if there's any changes to the agenda.
I would like to, in the consent agenda from our work session minutes, I'd just like to pull the work session minutes to discuss or make an addition to. I make a motion for that.
Make a motion. Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 7-0. Okay, that is pulled. Now do I have a motion to accept the rest of the agenda for the meeting?
Second.
I have a motion second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, it passes 7-0. We will add the section that we pulled for the work session to the number 4 item. Okay, now, back to public comment. Do we have anyone signed up? We don't have anyone signed up. Do we have anyone to speak? Seeing nobody speak, the first thing on the agenda is the criteria for design and build construction method for the jail and public safety complex expansion. County Manager Andy Lewis.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The board's had some conversation over the past couple of years around the jail or overcrowding issues. I think the sheriff told me they had 141 in there this morning and had to take some folks to Yadkin County. And so as a result of those conversations, the board had directed staff to move forward with starting the process of engaging a design build contractor to begin the design of an expansion of our jail facility downtown. The immediate need is at 96 beds that would actually marry up with the most recent addition that the county did. And so before we can use the design build construction method, we have to pass a set of criteria that allows us to use that method. And so that criteria has been put together and included in your packet. Once you approve this, then we'll issue an RFQ, and then design build contractors will engage, submit their responses. We'll do interviews and bring forth a selected design build contractor at some point in the future, and then they'll put forth a budget for their architect to do the design. Once they're done with the design, they'll be able to give us a guaranteed maximum price for what it will take to construct it. And so this will come back before you in a couple iterations in the future. One, the design build contractor, general contractor, getting them under contract. And then obviously once we have a guaranteed maximum price, once they're done with the design, which will take 8 to 12 months. Once they have that, that'll come back before you again for a decision. So this evening, you're just approving the criteria to move forth with the design build construction method. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Commissioner Law? Commissioner, no questions? Anybody? Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion that we approve the criteria for the design build.
I second it.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner King and a second by Commissioner Shudo to approve the design bill. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Passes 6-0. Or 7-0, excuse me. I left myself out. All right, next thing on the agenda is the 911 EOC facility project ordinance, budget amendment, and presenter is Andy Lucas. County Manager.
Yes, thank you, members of the board. Again, we've been talking about this project, this 911 EOC Emergency Services Office, for a couple years now. The county secured $1 million grant through the state budget process. So Senator Ford and Representative Sasser were able to secure $1 million to help offset the cost of the equipment for this new facility. That money has to be spent by October 3rd, 2025, per the grant stipulations. And so sort of time is of the essence. And so I had some conversations with Brian Taylor with the Office of State Fire Marshal around the potential opportunity to collaborate with the new North Carolina Emergency Management Training Center that's going on out at the airport, and being able to put our 911 EOC emergency services facility out there in the general area of the North Carolina Emergency Training Center, since the county already owns the property. And so he thought it was a great idea because it'll allow us to collaborate. When we're not using our EOC, they can use that space when we need equipment or other resources for a disaster. Those guys are right there and got all sorts of resources and assets that we can take advantage of. So being able to coordinate and be right on the same site has a lot of advantages for Stanley County. And so as a result of that, we're asking the board to move forward with the design, the schematic development, and construction drawings, and just amend our existing contract with Barnhill, who has the design build contract for the Emergency Management Training Center, just amending the scope of that to include our 911 EOC Emergency Services Facility. But the first step of that is engaging them and through a budget amendment and a contract amendment to do the design of that facility. Again, they'll come back with a guaranteed maximum price that you all will have to make a decision on whether you move forward with it or not. And so that's $800,000. This budget amendment sets up so there's two pieces of this. One, setting up the project fund, so because it's a multi-year capital project fund. So we're moving money from the general fund to that fund, $800,000 to pay the cost of the design. We're also recognizing that $1 million from the state for the equipment. So that's going in that project fund at this time. But obviously we won't spend any of that $1 million until we get down into the construction part of the project. And so I'll be happy to answer any other questions you may have, but this basically will give us, and we're also asking the board to allow us to execute an amendment to the Barnhill design build contract upon review of the county attorney to do this design part of this. This will actually be part of an amendment that will also include some additional work for and phase 1 of the swift water rescue and the aircraft rescue facility, because they needed more money in the budget. And I think last meeting you all did a budget amendment to recognize additional funds, and so we'll be doing an amendment that will include that construction as well as this design with our funding, and so with Barnhill, if you all authorize that this evening. So I'll be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Anybody have anything?
Mr. Vice Chairman, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I have a question for the county manager. Do you anticipate any savings of money since we're going to be collaborating with the North Carolina Emergency Management Training Center?
Obviously, a savings. Obviously, we already own the land, so we don't have to go out and procure any other land. I do think there'll be savings because the program we've already done a programming and sort of a schematic for this. We paid for that a couple years ago, Commissioner Eford, and so that programming included a warehouse that would be with this facility. What this will allow us to do, the Emergency Management Training Center was already building a warehouse at this site. And so now we'll just be able to pay the incremental cost of adding another bay or two to that warehouse as part of that, in that whatever that incremental design cost is, which will be nominal, instead of having to include that in our project. And so I do think there'll be savings there too. So land cost, just being able to leverage some other resources that are already being planned for the Emergency Management Training Center project in phase 2 of that project. That's probably where you'll see the biggest cost savings. Other than that, it's the facility would be the facility no matter where we built it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Lucas, I have a couple, just a question. The $1 million grant that we did receive, could you talk about, I do know it's got to be spent within, 18 months?
Yeah, October 3rd of 2025, if I recall, is the date that has to be encumbered by. So would have to have something under contract and have a PO for that resource. And what that's would be used for would be, the plan is to keep our current primary PSAP, which is in the courthouse, primary PSAP being our 911 center. And our backup center is at the hospital. And it's a small it's got 4 stations at it, but it's in a very small room over there. And obviously the hospital would love to have that space back. And so the plan is to make our primary PSAP 911 center and courthouse our backup center. And that'll allow expanded capacity in our backup center, and then move into a new facility. And so we'll have to buy new equipment or some new equipment. We'll be able to relocate some of the equipment at the hospital, but the backup center, that equipment will stay in place. We'll be able to move some of the equipment from the hospital to the new facility, but we'll still need some more stations to be able to have the 8 stations that they would like to have at the new center. And so we'll have that equipment, the wiring, the servers, all that is what we would contemplate purchasing: chairs, desks, all those things that they'll need in the new center.
With that $1 billion. So are there stipulations that money has to be spent on just that sort of thing?
The way the budget language, I believe, reads as emergency communications infrastructure for the new facility.
Okay.
And that's the way it was sort of worded in the budget, the text and the budget that was approved by the state.
Thank you.
Anyone else have anything? If not, what's the pleasure of the board?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve.
You make a motion to have a motion, Mr. Commissioner Shudo. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Hatley. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Ayes 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay, changing to number 4 on the agenda is the work session minutes from the last meeting. I guess I'll turn that over to Mr. Shudo.
Yes, I would just like to add to the minutes in the general discussion area, after the sentence where it says, "The board then participated in a general discussion concerning homelessness in the county," I'd like to add the following. Commissioner Shudo asked Commissioners King and Commissioner Crump if they still would like Greyhound to stop service in Stanley and, Albemarle. Both replied yes.
Okay, do we need to take a new vote on that or anything?
Is Peter making that in the form of a motion?
That is in the form of a motion.
So that'll need a second, and then you have to open it up for discussion.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a second by Ms. Crump, Commissioner Crump. And now it's open for discussion. Anybody want to discuss it?
Absolutely, I'd love to discuss it. So I'm so glad Charles is here tonight with the Stanley News and Press. I hope this makes front news page. I hope it makes the front page. If I had my rathers, or if I had my wishes, we would stop that bus immediately. There would be no more Greyhound bus in Stanley County, and I am very clear and firm on that, and I hope that everybody can hear me when I say that. The safety of the Stanley County residents is my utmost importance. One of the biggest reasons the commissioners and the city council come together, and I don't think we've heard anything but bad things about that bus stop. I don't think it's brought anything good to Stanley County. So yes, I unequivocally support stopping that bus route, which I don't think as a county commissioner we have the authority to do that. But there again, that's where I stand on it, and I am completely fine with this motion, and I'll stand before anybody that wants to talk about it.
I'm in total agreement.
Okay, I guess we need to bring it to a new vote then.
I think all we're doing is just adding it to the minutes, but I just want to make a comment in response to all that stuff. Greyhound bus service, they serve a good section of our community. There's a lot of people, because, you know, it was at Vacandash, and that's the bus stop beside Uwharrie Dash. What do you want to do about the citizens that utilize the bus, that have family members come in? Without the Greyhound bus here, they would have to take more time off from work, drive the person and pick them up in Charlotte or Salisbury, and then they'd have to wait till the bus came and picked them up. And I think it's a good service, serves the whole community there. And there's a lot of rumors going around about the people getting on and off the bus. And I tell you, when I had it there for so many years, the Greyhound bus service is no different than Amtrak or Delta or anyone else. They get people from point A to point B.
I'm gonna,
And that's all I'm saying about that.
okay, well, I think since this was made as a motion and seconded, we got to vote on it.
Yes.
So, you want to continue discussion? Go right ahead.
So I also want to bring it to the attention that when Commissioner Crump and I came on this board, one of the first conversations we had with you was to get statistics to show us how many people are actually using that bus from Stanley County, and you couldn't provide those. So if it's such a good service, there should be statistics showing that. But I also serve on the library board, and our library board has constantly heard that $20 will get you to Stanley County on the Greyhound bus, and you know that's one of the major things that homeless people are coming in here for. So I think that's very important to note.
Okay.
I just do need a reply to that. No, I just want to reply because he made some
Right quick, we're
statements.
going to take a vote on it.
He made some statements. Y'all asked that. Y'all asked ridiculous questions. And then, first of all, Greyhound is a private company. They do not have to answer those questions. And I told you guys I did not have my contact anymore to get a hold of
Let's
that.
wrap it up, please. Let's get this going.
I have not had an opportunity to discuss. If I could make one.
And then I just want to finish this up. They ask questions. You know, you wanted me to ask questions like, are the people employed that get on the bus? And she did.
Okay, we got it. That's enough. We need, Ms. Crump, would you like to make?
Yes, I was in attendance at the city council meeting in Albemarle a few weeks ago when there was a very lively discussion about the homelessness situation that we have in downtown Albemarle. And there were quite a few business owners that stood up and talked about how scary it is, just to walk outside of their business because there were people that were defecating in their presence within eyesight in their parking lot area. There is a man out there that's walking around with a hatchet. There is a lot of things going on, drug use out there for everyone to see, and it got a lot of attention. And part of the conversation were also business owners that actually are within eyesight right in front of that bus stop. And they vouched for the fact that there were people coming off of that bus that are homeless. And if you ask enough people, they will tell you that a lot of the people that they will ask some of the homeless people, and this is a direct quote from someone who works in Albemarle, that how did you find out about us? And we're kind of on the map because we have good resources here. And so you can get off that bus and get to Stanley County. So put that on the record with an exclamation mark right by it. Thank you.
Okay, now we have, any more discussion? Anyone else? I don't know exactly how to bring this up. It was his motion to add 2 names, but do you want to add those names or more? Or?
Excuse me, point of order. All I was doing was adding this comment to the minutes. That's all the motion is about.
So now you'll just approve that amendment to those minutes and approve those minutes.
So, got a motion and a second to approve adding 2 names, and as far as I'm concerned, you can add mine to that too. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 7-0 then. Thank you.
And just for clarification, all this was about was adding what happened at our last meeting.
We got board member comments later. Peter, you can talk about it. Okay, now we got the consent agenda. Now we got the consent agenda. All in,
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
okay. Second. Motion by Commissioner King, second by Mr. Hatley. All in favor, say aye. Okay. Consent agenda passes 7-0. Okay, now we're open to board member comments, announcements, and committee reports. And since Mr. Shudo wants to comment, I think I'll start with him.
And that was like 20 seconds ago. I can't remember what my point was. No, and I just, I just think it's a shame that there's a private business doing a service for people. And, I think a lot of it is just rumors that have spread. I remember when it's people just traveling, and in this country, you can buy a ticket to go anywhere. And they, and it's a form of transportation. And those other issues are other issues.
I just want to thank Commissioner Hatley for working on the thing with Gateway to Hope that we talked about in our meeting before we came out here. That's good work that we're trying to come up with proactive ways to help people in our community. And I think that it's important that we continue to do that work. Thank you.
Mr. Crump.
No comment.
Mr. Hatley? I don't have anything either. It's a short meeting. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. I cut my mic off.
Hey, what about those guys? Do they have comments? Did you have some?
Oh,
Scott and-
Scott, you have any comments? Mr. Efrey?
I just like to say, Mr. Vice Chairman, thank you so much for handling it while we're gone, and happy President's Day, and I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Chairman Lawhorn?
Go War Eagles. Thank you for coming.
If that's all, then I don't have anything else to add, so do I have a motion for the meeting to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Yeah.
Hey, Tyler, what about for
All in favor?
adjourning, or are we?
Oh, is anything else?
We didn't recess,
Hey, Mike, we need to recess till Friday.
Do what now?
Recess until Friday.
Oh, we just recess then.
Yeah, so just ask for.
I need to change that then. Instead of adjournment, we are going to have a recess till Friday, is that February
23rd,
23rd
9 a.m. at the airport.
at 9 a.m. at the airport to continue our budget session. So change that from adjournment to, anybody want to change the motion or change the motion?
I'll change the motion that we go into recess until Friday morning.
Okay. Have a motion. Have a second? Commissioner Crump, second it. All in favor? Aye. Passes 7-0.